Okay, AP scholars, we're taking a look at the question closeFar from the logic-2 problem set of codingBat. And this is a tricky one, especially to understand what the question is even asking in the first place. So I'm going to try to explain what closeFar means, and then I'll pause the video so you can try it yourself, and then I'll show you the answer. Okay, so in understanding what this question is asking, there's sort of two parts. There's, first of all, it's all about some numbers being close and some numbers being far to other numbers. So I think we have to understand which numbers need to be close and which numbers need to be far. Otherwise, it's going to be very confusing. The second thing we have to understand is how do you calculate whether numbers are close or far to each other? So that's the second thing, and that's going to use math.absolute, which will be helpful. So let's talk about the first thing. This is the most confusing part of this question, and we have to know in the criteria of the question, in the wording of the question, what is it looking for? You know, what is it asking? And this is so hard. So here we go. So first of all, you're going to have a set of close and far numbers. So what numbers need to be close, and close to which ones? So first of all, the close information. We're looking at numbers that are close to A. So A is the first number, and the story is that one of these two numbers has to be close to A. Not both of them, just one of them. So we're taking a look at B and C. So one of B and C, just one of those, should be close to A. And by the way, close means within 1. So plus or minus 1, or it could be equal to. So that is the close aspect. And notice that in our first example, which is the close number to A? Well, it's B. B is within 1 of A. In our last example, which is our close number, it is 3. 3 is our close number to A. So yeah, makes sense. So that's the close part. In addition to there being a close number, like one of B or C, then the one that's not close needs to be far to the other two values. Oh, that's so hard. That's so hard. So I'll show you for the first example. We already know that 2 is our close number. That means C, the other number, needs to be far from A and B, which it is. That's why it returns true. One of them's close to A, and the other number is far from both of those numbers. The last one, which is our close number, it's 3. So 3 is close to A, which means that the other number, B, must be far from A and C. Yeah? That makes sense? Oh, it's so hard. So basically you need one of B and C to be close to A, and the other number, whichever wasn't close, needs to be far from A and whatever the close number was. So, wow. How do you turn that into a thing? So the answer is going to be basically, you're going to find those differences and use the differences to navigate the question. So how do you find the distance, like whether a number is close or far? So it suggests using math.absolute, or abs, which calculates the absolute value. So you can take the difference, say, between A and B, and it could be plus or minus a certain value, right? So that means if you take the difference, you might get a negative value or you might get a positive value, but you're not concerned about the negative sign. You're just concerned about the magnitude of the value of the difference. So we can take the difference and put it into math.absolute and just get rid of the negative sign. And that way we're just calculating whether or not it's within a certain number. Not worried about what the actual difference is, just like the magnitude of the difference. So that's how I'm going to use math.absolute to actually find the differences. And then once I have the differences between A and B and C and A and C, then I can actually do the logic. I can actually go and do the hard part of the question, which is just getting there is hard. So there you go. That's basically the setup. So with that hint, hopefully that helps clarify closeFar. If you would like to just pause the video and go and try and solve it now, that's great. And if you'd like to watch the answer, then continue on. So here's the story. Here's my answer. And is it flawless. Could you improve it? Maybe. Yeah, you probably could. But I think this is a great explanation for using if-elses, and that's the part of our unit that we're studying, so I think this is good. So first of all, I'm going to calculate the distances between the numbers, which is just the differences, and I'm going to use math.absolute to just look at the magnitude, and then I can check to see if they're close or far, and then return true or false. So here, the first 3 lines of my method is just calculating the distances between A and B. Whoops, I'm moving it. The distance between the numbers A and B, the distance between the numbers A and C, and then B and C as well. So what I'm first going to do is my sort of outer, my outer if statement is just checking to see if the distance between A and B is close. So the distance is less than or equal to 1. So it could either be 1, -1, or 0. Those are all possible ways that I could have gotten AB distance to be 1 or less. So if that's true, then I guess B is my close number. So then I want to find out if C is a far number. So remember, far is the distance is 2 or greater. So then I can say, well, if B is my close number, then is C far away from B and A? If it is, then I guess we have a true. So I'm just returning whether this is true or false. I'm not making this like if this is true, return true, else return false. It is true or false, so I can just return it instead of the if statement. Although if you wanted to make a nested if statement, this would be perfectly good time to do that. I prefer this, it's just a little bit cleaner, but if you're having trouble understanding it, feel free to come and ask me about that, and we can take a look at how that would look like as a nested if statement. So that's one possibility. B was the close number, and so then I have to decide if this is if C was the far number. So here's another possibility. C could have been the close value. And notice I'm using else if. So if that was close, then I wouldn't want to check if B was close. I wouldn't want to check if C was close, because only one of them is close. So I'm using the if, else, if to make that work nicely. I guess with return, it's not absolutely necessary. So I don't have to do that. So don't worry about it. So my next condition, though, is I do want to check to see if C was the close number. Because what if B wasn't close, right? So if C is the close number, then I'm going to return whether or not B was the far number. So I got to check the distance between A and B and C to see if B was the far number. So if C is close, B should be the far one. So if that's true, great, it returns. If that's not true, so if neither of them were close, then I guess the answer was false. If neither B or C was close, out of here. There's no way this was true. So that's the way I solved it. Wow, what a mouthful. This question was a hard one. And I'm not going to lie, I recorded this video like, I don't know, 6 times. No exaggeration, to get this explanation clear, because it's just a confusing question. So hopefully that makes sense, and thanks for listening to the video, and feel free to ask more questions in class.